It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Cause that's the bottom line. The Stone Cold said so.
And so, goodbye. And good night, bang.
Settle! Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Just a man! But the Rock is cooking.
Now welcome to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to our repackaged, rebranded, brand new time, Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome to the only wrestling show that is here on the network. Welcome to Off the Mat. I'm your host, Josh Silverberg. As always, with me at this time, my Death Triangle compadres with me. We'll start down in Florida, Mr. Alex Lowe's. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, Josh. It's been an absolutely amazing week for wrestling. We got a lot to get into with so little time, and we stick with us here all the way through the show because we got NXT, we got AEW, we got AEW Revolution, and more. So you're going to want to stay tuned throughout the whole show.
Absolutely. And again, we're on till 10 o'clock, 8 to 10 o'clock now. And of course, our other new co-host who's been with us the last few weeks, he is now with us full time. He is Mr. Lyle Gillen. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. You sound very disappointed to see me. You should be a little more excited, you know? It's me, of course.
Hello, Gillen, everybody.
There we go. It's more like it.
Well, like I said, we're excited to have everybody on with us. We're so excited for the new time that we're on from 8 to 10, giving us the extra hour. We have to thank, of course, the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We have to thank Errol Marks as well for giving us the opportunity to really, broaden our horizons with the show and everything like that, and showing the fans that, hey, we're more than just a 1 hour show on Saturdays. We could go prime time and we could be able to give the fans what they want to hear. Also, it's interesting, starting next week, really quick, Alex, who has also been producing the show, is actually going to no longer be doing that. We're going to make Alex's life so much easier now. We want Alex to be he is always 110% with us, but we want him even higher than that always. So we're gonna dial his work back because he works too much. So we're gonna dial it back. Speedy Petey, who of course you could see down to the wire below the mic with Errol Marks, and of course with him and myself, me and Errol on the Weekend Crunch. He is going to be producing the show with us starting next Tuesday. And the cool thing is with that is we're going to be able to have callers call in now as well. So we're going to be able to get to hear from you, the fans, not just on the Facebook comments or anything like that. So it's a really cool thing that we're being able to add Speedy to the program. He doesn't know really anything about wrestling. But he does know about producing.
Don't be entertainment to make fun of him.
Well, his screen's gonna be blank, so but you can make fun of him just blank screen. So I probably will, especially about his mom, probably. So
and if you're listening, you'll be able to call in. We'll give you the number on our Twitter account, on Facebook, so make sure you're following us. And starting next week, you can call in and ask questions.
Absolutely, of course. But before we get to all that, I know Alex, I'm sure our guest is waiting for us to let her come in. So she's on, but before we get to her, and we're going to let you introduce her, we want to talk about our app quick. This is so important. For those of you that don't have our app, please download it. The app is free. I can't stress this enough. It is free. You can download the app. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store, type in WWSRN. If you have an Android, Google Play, type in Worldwide Sports. You get our show schedule, all of the content with our articles, our wonderfully written, professionally done articles by overwriters. I know Alex wrote a couple this past week. You have recaps of the show. If you missed it, you can rewatch clips of everything that you want to see and hear again. So if you missed the show, you don't have to worry. You can just re-listen to the show. There's so much to don't mind my dog barking in the background. you get all that stuff for free, no charge at all. That's the best part about it. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope. We're all over the place. And if you could see on the ticker, our Twitter pages are up as well. No, Lyle, I will not be following you anytime soon. So before Alex, I know this has been a big get for us. I'm going to let you introduce our guest. I know she's waiting, and we gracefully appreciate her coming on with us tonight. So Alex, take it away, man.
So Josh, Lyle, now it's time to welcome our special guest. I know she has been continuing to do a tremendous job with her interviews for Ambi, a music blog. Yeah, hence her being called the interview queen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in Alicia Atout. Well, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
I'm
Welcome
good.
to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
We're good. Can't wait to interview you. That's for sure. We're excited to have you.
Time out of your busy schedule to be on the show with us.
Oh, absolutely.
So as someone who is passionate about the sports entertainment business, for me, it's truly an honor to have you on with us.
Thank you.
And before we get into the interview, I first want to ask you, how are you handling COVID? Like, how's your everyday life going with that?
Honestly, this thing has sucked, and it's just not only the way it's affected me, but just everybody around me, my sister's a nurse, so just seeing her day to day having to deal with this BS, it's obviously very unwanted. But luckily we all have our health. We're hanging in there. I can't travel as frequently as I would like, just due to being in Canada right now and us having really strict rules for all of this, but it is what it is. I'm making do. I'm still interviewing like a mad woman. I still have my campaigns going. I am overwhelming people online with all of my random crap. So, I'm hanging in there. And I'm just trying to do my best,
For
sure. So my first question is, what inspired you to create Ambi? Like, how did that all come about for you? And what first got you into wrestling?
Yeah, so honestly, my journey with music and wrestling, because that was really what Ambi was focused on, was music in the very beginning. I've had a love of it since I was a kid. Like, out of the womb was music, and when I was about 2 or 3 was wrestling. So honestly, I would just write a bunch of album reviews and single reviews during class when I was in high school. I was always finishing my work early and super bored. And then my parents found out that I was using this as an outlet to just blog about these, or to write up all these artists that I love. They're like, why don't you post this online? Like, why don't you just start a blog and see what happens? So I threw it online. Instead of writing pen to paper, I started typing into my laptop on a random WordPress site. And next thing you know, people randomly started reading it. And I was like, who gives a damn about any of this? Like, this is so weird. And then I'd go to, as a teenager, I was 16 when I started my site back in 2012. But when I started it, I used to go to concerts all the time with my dad, my sister, my mom, and we went to this one gig. And after the show, we met the band and had this really crappy dinky camera. And my dad said, hey, we love these guys. Why don't you ask them a couple questions and you throw it on your blog? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what to ask them. I love them. And I was thrown in front of the camera and I asked the band 2 questions, threw it online, called a 2Q video interview. And next thing you know, I was doing that every single week. Then it turned into long interviews, and then it turned into what it is today. So that's kind of my semi-long story short. But yeah, it was
an awesome story. It's called a spur of the moment kind of thing. You took initiative. That's
oh my gosh. It really was. It was just like, hey, I'm just not going to put a life jacket on you and just throw you into the ocean. But I'm so grateful that he did, because now I am here. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so you did All In and you did Double or Nothing. What happened that stopped you from signing with AEW full time?
Yeah, so I was texting with Cody about it briefly and a couple other people there, and I knew that there was interest. And at that same time, you know how it can be, it was a waiting game between multiple companies. And then MLW approached me around that same time. And at that point, everyone was actually under the impression I had signed with AEW, but that was never, ever the case. I never put that out there, neither did anyone on their team. I was extremely grateful they gave me those 2 opportunities as a freelance journalist / interviewer. But then MLW came along and they were like, hey, this is what we'd like to offer you. We want to get this done ASAP if you're interested. I flew out to New York in December of 2019, and the experience was just wonderful. And it was one of those things where they really wanted me in that moment. and I could either wait for who knows how long for the other offers to come through, or even potentially like be there, or I could take a chance on this company that wanted to take a chance on me. So I was just like, you know what? Let's give this a go. And it's been really wonderful ever since. It really has.
I wanted to get
Josh,
your
good
intake pretty much what got you into wrestling. I know you mentioned it a little bit, but what was like the first kind of action you saw? Was it on TV? Was it in a magazine? Because everybody always seems to have a story of how they got hooked into wrestling. I know when I first watched, it was WCW way back when. What about your experience?
Yeah, so the first thing I remember in terms of watching wrestling was just being sat on the couch with my dad and all of his basketball friends, because we had like a basketball court across the street. And whenever they were done playing, shooting the hoops, they would watch wrestling. So I remember just sitting on the couch, and the first thing I can actually recall is Hell in a Cell, like iconic Foley Taker match. And I just remember like really briefly, like, what is going on? What kind of television is this? What show is my dad watching? Like, as a little girl, like, you just don't, or a little kid even, you just don't realize what the hell's on your TV, or like, oh, what's this new show? And of course down the line you figure all that out. But it was just really, really cool to me and really different. And I grew up watching like Tarantino films and loving comic books when I was really young. So it was just this whole other world of just super cool, different things. So I just really fell in love with it. And then throughout time, I went through phases where I watched it a lot. I went through phases where I didn't watch it at all. And then now it's just like my world. So it's kind of weird how it all works out.
This for sure. Small world, that's for sure. Full circle.
Yeah, totally.
So Alicia, I've seen a lot of your different interviews with such as with Brian Pillman Jr., also with Mick Foley, who you just mentioned from the Hell in a Cell match. You've had the privilege of interviewing many different wrestlers in the sports entertainment industry. Who's the one person you've enjoyed doing interviews with the most when it comes to wrestling?
Oh, it's so hard. I know, like, obviously his name's been tossed around a couple times, but anytime I get to work with Foley, it's just a delight. He is just such a sweet, gentle, kind-hearted man. So I love being able to work with him. I was able to not only interview, but host a panel for Dustin Rhodes. And, you know, as a kid, I remember just imitating Goldust. So that was super surreal and amazing. And then Jay White, I've had him on my show, I think, for 6 different interviews. And so that's just like a really cool side of things where it's like you not only get to interview someone, but there's like a friendship, and you really get to show the world like some really interesting things about that person they maybe did not ever know before. And that's what I'm all about. So yeah, those are definitely some of my favorite guests.
Lyle?
So you just talked about your favorite guest. What is someone that you interviewed that was just an awful interview that did not go well, that you don't think well of that one interview?
Ooh, okay. I mean, like, when I had Scarlett Bordeaux on, when I had Rosemary on, MJF, now Selena De Laurentiis a huge pain in my ass. Those are all people. Joe
I'm super
Hendry
glad you brought up MJF.
Yeah, but like Joe Hendry back in the day, him and I had some real beef. So there are a lot of people in wrestling who just aren't a huge fan of interviews. And when they come, you know, one-on-one with me, they just really like to display their disdain, and I give it right back.
This is segues into basically the interview question. There's a beef going on in MLW. I'm going to get into the elephant of the room. It's with a certain superstar, Miss Selena Lorenta.
Yeah.
You and her have gone back and forth, tit for tat. I got to know the backstory because I've seen it, and I'm hearing the two of you, and there's just the disdain between you two. It's almost like you watch it. It's like, oh. You feel it when you're in the room between the two of you. You know what is the relationship with you two now? And has it gotten any better?
Oh, hell no! It's only getting worse.
I didn't think it was. That's why I asked it.
Oh no! It's one of those things where, like, when we were both just doing indie shows before I was signed with MLW, she was cool with me at shows. We talk once in a while. We have pictures together where we're just smiley and like, you know, how you would be with an acquaintance or someone you just met. Like, there's nothing to hold against anyone. And then once I signed with MLW, she just had this attitude out of the gate. Like, whether we were filming an actual promo for them, she would just cut me off and say horrible things. When we're behind the scenes in the locker room, she'd be like, oh, you can't change in here. What are you talking about? Like, I'm the female of the locker room. I'm this, I'm that. Like, what the? like whatever. So she's just always been a gigantic douche. So it's one of those things where we had a really big show coming up, and about maybe 2 months ago, this happened, month and a half even. It's still fairly fresh, all of this, like as far as being on social.
I saw the recent interview. I watched it this morning again, and I got to ask her this question later.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, though, where it just continues to grow and we continue to loathe one another, and she just isn't getting any better. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Like, there has to be some respect deep down for me. Like, I have never done anything to her. I get if people don't like me. Everyone's not going to love me. Like, I don't give a shit. But it's like, I work with you. Respect me in some way. And she just never showed it. So I was like, you know what? You want to play dirty? I'll play dirty. So now it just is what it is. And,
I totally struck a nerve with Alicia, by the way. little bit. But you know what, though? I want that. You know what it is it's I watched the react, like you had her on your show, and the way she was towards you was so disrespectful to even just come on your show like that and everything. And I'm like, I blew my mind. Like we had Leo Rush on here a few weeks ago. And we asked I think Lyle asked Leo about ELP, and that clearly struck a nerve with Leo to the sense where he went off. So clearly we're the ones that strike the nerves in people, so we apologize.
It's all good. Hey, we put it out into the universe. Someone's gonna pick up on it. I always say, even though deep down I am frustrated all the time and annoyed and would just love to like beat the crap out of her, hey, if people are finding some entertainment in it, then at least there's some kind of positive light.
Exactly. So if it's buzz, it's good buzz. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
You're up, Alex.
What first kicked off your idea for interviews with wrestlers as an influencer? What came to mind what questions come to mind when you put together these interviews?
Yeah, so honestly, the reason that I first decided to get into wrestling and interviewing wrestlers is because I would interview so many bands, and they would throw in these little wrestling nuances or phrases, like they'd stone cold what me, or they'd act all crazy and go into like Macho Man voice. And they weren't trying to be belittling, but I think they were just doing it as an inside joke, and they didn't think I would understand it. So they would do something, and I'd be like, oh, that's so funny, like out of nowhere or whatever. And I'd pick up on a Randy Orton thing, and they're like, wait, you know about that? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, who doesn't? And then our interviews for music would go from talking about music to talking about wrestling. And we would just have so much fun doing that. So that opened my eyes simply to, oh my gosh, if these musicians like wrestling, wrestlers have got to love music. So why not just cross the two and do something completely unique and different? So that was mainly the main reason I went into that avenue. And now it's just like exploded. I never expected it to be what it is now. I went into it like, oh, I'll just interview people for my YouTube and that's it. And now it's hosting and all this craziness. But and then the influencer stuff I've been doing for a few years. It really started back in like 2017, 2016, where the biggest thing I did was BMW hired me to go to Coachella for a whole week and stay in LA and just do all this really cool stuff with them. And that opened my eyes thinking, oh my gosh, if a company like that wants to hire me, I'm sure there are big ones and much smaller ones that want to work with me too. And so that's been really, really fun and different. And yeah, that's been just mind-blowing, some of the brands I've been able to work with. And and then I think the last thing was just questions. When it comes to those, I just really try to make my interviews different. I try to ask things people might not even think they want to know, but as soon as we start talking about it, they're like, wait, she's talking about this like super badass guy about barbecuing? Like, who would have thunk, just like little nuggets that make them human beings instead of superstars, because being a superstar is awesome, but when you can really relate to someone on a human level, I find it's genuine and you just love them even more so. So that's kind of my favorite thing. And I always say I'm like a professional stalker. I will deep dive so hard into people's social medias to find anything I can that would be fun to talk about or different or just like amusing. So I've literally gone back like 4 years to someone's Twitter just to find something really good. So.
That's awesome.
I take it seriously.
The one interview I really enjoyed that I've seen on your YouTube was the Brian Pillman Jr. interview, because I actually never knew this about him, that he came up with the Varsity Blonde name by throwing it together from his dad's old tag team, his old tag team. I'm trying to remember the name. Josh, What's the name of that?
The one with Stone. You but the one with Stone Cold in WCW. What's it? The
I'm brain
Hollywood.
farting on it.
Was it the Hollywood Blondes?
Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah, it's disturbing that even. I mean, that I know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just that makes me feel old at this point. So,
But it was a cool interview to watch because I never knew that. I never knew the backstory behind that whole thing, how it came together. So that was cool to learn that from him.
Awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things that I just love about these interviews is you discover such random things about people, and some are important and some aren't, but even the ones that aren't important at all, like they just don't matter. You're like, oh, it's like a really cool little thing to know about them. So I've known Pillman since we pretty much started in the wrestling business about the same time. So he's always been at shows I've been at. We did some of the AEW stuff before they were actually like AEW. So yeah, it was cool being able to have him back on the show again during these crazy quarantine times and just shoot the breeze, a little catch up.
Sure, for sure.
Lyle?
Okay, so I want to ask you this question now.
Oh boy.
You said you were up in Canada. So
Yes.
You're from Toronto, I believe, right?
Yes, I am.
Are you a Leafs fan?
I don't watch hockey at all, like
Do you
whatsoever.
follow, what sports teams do you follow up in?
Like
up in
none.
Canada? No, really.
Dude, she's too
hate
busy.
Sports. I've never been interested in sports in my life. Like, even I always say, like, even growing up, my best friend had a cottage, and her family's obsessed with sports. Like, they love hockey, they love, especially up here, baseball. We have the Blue Jays, and so we were watching a Jays game, and it was only like 8 o'clock at night, and I was maybe like 15 years old. And I remember I was sitting on the couch at the cottage, and I fell asleep, and I wake up, and they were like, I was like, what were we even watching again? They were like, it was sports. And I'm like, it makes sense. I literally slept through the entire game. So there are no, I only like, it's only sports entertainment. It's wrestling. Otherwise, no sports for me.
So you talked earlier about, digging into people and everything like that. So I did a little bit of digging, before the interview, did a little deep dive. So you go back to with wrestling, you started at Impact. But also, the cool thing is, too, and I did not know this about you, you also did some MC work for Mick Foley for some of his stuff. That is what I saw that. So can you tell us about both of those experiences, getting your feet wet with Impact and as well as MCing with Mick Foley? Because as you said, you alluded to before, he's one of the nicest guys on the planet, and it almost feels like he gave you a huge opportunity as well.
Oh, 100%. So the Impact stuff came about because my first actual real wrestling gig was for a company here in Toronto called Smash Wrestling. And they were working with a bunch of other promotions. Like we had Progress shows, we did a couple things with Impact Talent. And so Smash Wrestling started working and doing things with a company called BCW. Like I was working both at the same time. And BCW is co-owned by Scott D'Amore, who is one of the VPs or EVPs for Impact Wrestling. Mm-hmm. So eventually Scott saw my work when we were doing shows in Canada, and he was like, hey, would you like to do stuff for Impact? And I was like, yeah, that'd be super cool. So I worked with them for, I don't even remember how long the stint was, like a year-ish on and off. And then I had my own show for about 8 months to a year with Santino, Anthony Corelli. We had our own Twitch show and everything, which was really cool. And then from there, all the All In and Double or Nothing stuff came about, and then it was just nuts afterwards. So that was super, super cool. And then when it comes to Foley, I interviewed him for the first time in London, Ontario. He was just a sweetheart off the bat. Just for me, I was like, holy shit, it's literally my first memory of wrestling right in front of me, it was crazy. So he's an icon. And after that interview, it just went super well. So we stayed in touch. I interviewed him again down the line. And next thing you know, I see that he's having this big tour. There were 2 tours I hosted for him. There was the 20 Years of Hell tour, and then there was one random one here that happened in Ontario. And so he hired me for both. And it genuinely blew my mind that out of everyone he could have had, host for him and open, he was like, hey, would you do it? I was just like, of course. And he's just such a great human being, and it's cool because obviously it's I know Noelle. I've interviewed her before, and she's fantastic. And I remember the last show I hosted for him maybe 2 years ago. He's on stage telling this story, and as he's telling it, he keeps looking over at me at the side because I was watching from side stage. And he keeps looking over to see if I'm laughing during it, and then he refers to me and he's like, hey, and he says something really cheeky, and he's like, my second daughter over here. What do you think of that story, huh, Alicia? And I literally was just like, of course he's saying it on a whim and we're just having a good time and stuff, but it was just one of those things where it's like the fact that he's even saying that jokingly, I was like, this is nothing fun. Like, this is incredible. So yeah, it was a brilliant experience. And hosting for him allowed me to go to someone like a Dustin Rhodes or some of the other people I've hosted for and be like, hey, I've hosted for Foley, I've hosted for so-and-so. And then they give you an opportunity because they know you're legit. So yeah, it was a really incredible opportunity. It really was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, what's one interview for, if you could interview any AEW wrestling star right now, currently, who would it be?
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's tricky. I feel like I've interviewed a lot of the roster. Honestly, it'd be really cool for me to catch up with Cody. Yeah. The first real big string of interviews I did, I was literally 2.5 months into doing wrestling interviews. So like hot out the gate, I was super fresh into the business. And I interviewed, it was like Will Ospreay, Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. Like it was just this crazy day of massive wrestling interviews. And this was before AEW and they were like super, super hot in Ring of Honor. And it was like a big thing. And we kept in touch ever since. And that's why those opportunities came about with them that we talked about before. So I think just because of like everything Cody's been able to do for me and it has helped me with and everything, all those opportunities, just to have like a real sit down with him or virtual sit down and catch up, that'd be really, really cool. So yeah, I think if I had to choose out of the whole roster right now, that's the person I'd want to speak with and catch up with.
So not MJF.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Because it would be virtual and I wouldn't be able to slap him. So what's the point?
Oh, yeah. Which leads us to Lyle's question, I think, right, Lyle?
Yes, now,
I know you're
I'm trying to save this one for last. I'm trying to save this one for last. Now, I really want to know, what's the backstory and how he came up with the nickname for you?
Oh, Tits McGee?
Yep.
By the way, Alicia, we want you back on the show in the future, by the way. So we do.
No, I was like, what is he? He's called me a lot of horrible things over the years.
Yeah.
It's like I've started interviewing him like 4 years ago. So yeah, there's a lot of mean stuff that's been shared. But honestly, I think he steals a lot of his lines from movies. So I think that was from like Anchorman or it's from a movie. And we were filming this thing where I was asking him fan questions and then he just says it. Like, you know how he just spews random bullshit out of his mouth. So that came out and I was like, what the fuck? Like I had to stop here. Like, what did you just call me? But you know, I didn't take it to heart like you can't with anything, and I let it fly. And then a lot worse was said on both parts going forward. So yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know why that came out of his brain. I don't have a story behind it. I just have the story of like how it happened and what I was thinking as it happened. So yeah, he's the worst.
I want to get your thoughts on this because, you know, there's so many wrestling companies out there nowadays. We always talk about WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor. But MLW is one of those that, just like Impact, it's starting to grow and it's getting bigger. You know, you're hearing names like Hammerstone, Leo Rush is there now. You know, at the time you had with the Hart Foundation that they just they recreated. Even MJF was there, and you know, you look back on it is how can fans really. You know, how can you look at MLW and compare it to other brands right now? And how far can you see it going? Can you think it could get much bigger than those brands?
Oh, I see MLW exploding, honestly. It's one of those things where we have such raw talent, and although we have really big names, we also have a lot of guys who have been around for quite some time, but they haven't got the recognition they deserve. But when you watch their matches, it just speaks for themselves. You're like, holy shnikes, like you're an incredible wrestler. And I think one of the biggest differences, honestly, when I watch our product compared to others, and this isn't a diss on other ones, it's just something even when I was like, oh, what am I signing? La, la, la. This was something I really took into consideration. And it's the fact that we really have freedom on the mic. We have creative freedom so frequently, like it's incredible. And I just feel like it's really raw and gritty, our product, from the wrestling to some of the stuff we say. We can curse like sailors, which is amazing. We just get to have fun. Like we get to have fun with it. So as far as where we can take this. It's cheesy to say, but I really feel like the sky's the limit. And because our boss is Court Bauer, who has so much experience with different companies, one of those being WWE, like his mind just never stops. It never turns off. So whether he's working on new TV deals, locations we can film, crazy story arcs, or new people to bring into the company, I just feel like we can take this to as massive as we want it to. And we had such big plans before COVID hit. Then we had to change things. We, for a while, had to put our tapings on hold because of it, just to be safe. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where now we're just being cautious. But as soon as we start filming again, like, it's just off to the races. It's going to be great.
I did, because like I said, I just asked that because, like I said, there's just so many big names. I mean, obviously, of course, you're one of them being, you know, interviewing backstage as well. But you think of the Von Erichs there, the Hart Foundation was there, Leo Rush was there. I mean, these are, and like I said, I was at Hammerstone is another one. He's growing so far to where he's becoming a major superstar in this business that we don't discuss enough. And it's like, you know, I always watch videos and everything on MLW, and I see the product, and I respect the product because of, like, it's kind of like when you look at, like, with Ring of Honor, even you're trying, you know, people are like getting concerned. Oh my God, there's so many brands out there, but it's amazing that you always feel like, and I know Lyle, we've discussed this. We always feel like that you have to choose one brand, and we're like, no. You can like all the brands and be a wrestling fan, and it's just so simple, and it's just ridiculous that people don't see it that way. They're so stubborn that they have to stay on WWE's lane or something like that.
No, it's ridiculous. Crazy. Like, even as someone who is signed to a company, like for my channel, and that's the beauty too. MLW allows me to interview anyone. So to this day, I still interview WWE, Impact, I have ROH people on, you know, AEW people frequent on my show. So it's like, why narrow it down to one? I don't just watch one TV show and that's it. Like, I don't just watch one movie, one style of music I don't listen to. So why just watch one brand? Like, it's silly to me.
It is silly. All right. Well, Alicia, we're going to let you go now. Get on with your night. And we want to thank you. First off, thank you to Alex for reaching out to you as well. And, of course, Alicia, please don't be a stranger. Come back on the show despite Lyle, you know, asking the MJF question. Note to self, when we see MJF, we'll make sure if you don't do it, we'll slap him in the face for you. So it's all good.
I appreciate you.
Of course. And by the way, go kick Selena's ass, would you, please? Tell her shut up at this point. Be ready. Please do so. I've had enough of her mouth, all right? That's serious. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia.
Keep doing what you're doing. Also, really quick, how can the fans reach out to you on social media and stuff?
How can everybody reach out to you on social media and all your different platforms?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys just type up Alicia Atout in your little Google boxes, you will find my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, my Patreon account, my store, and most importantly, my YouTube channel, where there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of interviews with your favorite musicians, wrestlers, bodybuilders, and celebrities. So check it out, and thank you guys for having me on the show.
Awesome, Alicia. You were great. Thank you so much. You have a good rest of your night, all right? Keep doing your work and keep kicking ass. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Oh, that was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, that was
awesome,
great.
man.
You know what?
I'm glad. That's that was an interview I've been wanting to do for a long time because, as I said at the beginning, I'd been following all of her stuff for like about 2 years, including her YouTube channel and her Twitter account. Just seeing all the back and forth stuff with Selena De Lorena has been interesting.
Selena De Lorenta, yeah, for sure. I mean, look, she could have kept going with the interview. I mean, of course, it's a Tuesday night. We wanted her to get on with her night and let her relax and everything like that. She's so busy with doing stuff and everything like that.
8:30 at night.
You know what I mean? But Lyle, I know Alex said what you said. Lyle, say what you want to say about the interview, and then I'll say my piece, and then we're going to go to a quick break after that.
I thought it was a great interview. She came off as genuine, super nice, and it's something that
she took your question well.
She did. She
took it like a champ. I tell you that much.
She came off as someone who's just a very fun person to be around and talk to, and that's just something that everyone who we've interviewed so far has come off like that.
Yeah.
You know, Leo Rush had his own persona online for a while where he would get guys or random fans in a video chat and just attack them and go heel on them, and but they interview him. He's such a nice guy. Same thing with Alicia. You interview these people and you don't realize how amazing they are outside of wrestling and how they're genuinely awesome people. And I don't think we have interviewed someone who has.
And even Raj too. Awesome. Yeah. And even Raj Raj engages the fans nonstop. And whether it's positive or it's negative, he still engages them. I mean, I know who we're gonna have, Alex. Phil is gonna
coming back on.
Phil, what his last name is? Phil Stamper is gonna be back on with us in a few weeks. Lyle, you haven't met him. We've had him on our show twice. He's phenomenal. He's a former wrestler in the business, and he's a guy that's really insightful, and you take the knowledge that he brings. But I think what stood out to me with Alicia is really how she just finds everything so positive. She finds everything there to be a positive light on everything, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's nice, whether it's nasty. She always finds it to be, in a sense, a positive, because she made a great point. You know, I brought up the Selena thing. Wow, you brought up the MJF thing. If it's being talked about, it's creating buzz. And if it's creating buzz, that means something good is happening. So that's really what, and that's something that when we, in the wrestling business, you want to generate, the buzz. And she's right about MLW. I don't think
it's a great product. It really
it's
is.
a phenomenal product. It is. I mean, like I said, and I mentioned the names. I know, the Heart Foundation was recreated there.
And then you got Then you have Contra and Arya Davari over there too.
Arya Davari over there.
Before MJF left, you had Dynasty, which was
a
great faction.
Dynasty had a huge rivalry with the Von Erichs, and the Von Erichs are there, and Alexander Hammerstone, who's becoming one of the best wrestlers in the planet, is there, and Leo Rush is there, and you think of all these names that you wouldn't think of that aren't getting the recognition that they rightfully deserve, and she's one of them, Alicia. She's one of the She is one, and I'm not saying this because she was on our show. I'm saying because it's a fact. She's one of the best backstage interviewers on the wrestling business today. She is on camera. She's
she definitely is.
One of the best on the planet.
So she's awesome. So Alex, great job, man. Seriously, for finding her and reaching out to her, and we want her back on the show in the future, for sure. So far, the first half has been phenomenal to our wonderful new time and our epic primetime night, that's for sure. But it's awesome to have her on, and we're excited. But when we come back, now it's time to get back to business, right, boys? Now it's time to get back into discussing.
Now the fun stuff.
Now the fun starts. AEW. We have the recap of Dynamite. We have Revolution previewing. What are we looking forward to, and what are we not looking forward to? And will WWE and the comments by Cody Rhodes, does this help or hurt AEW? We'll give you our thoughts on that when we come back on Off the Mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Amby Alicia. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a price. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second half of the first hour of Off the Mat here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, along with my co-host, Lau Gillen. Don't know what he's doing with his eyeballs, doing a little Adam Gase there, okay. And Alex Lowe's.
Very enjoying that right there. You have a lot of wiles on your Tuesday nights.
No, you might want to. I want the fans to stay tuned with us, not get off. But of course, along with Alex Lowe's as well. I'm Josh Silverberg. First off, we want to thank Alicia too for joining us that last half.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. It was
great interview.
She was awesome. She was great and so much insight and everything like that for sure.
Yeah, she had phenomenal insight. So it was one of my favorite interviews to do because, as I said before, I'd been following her work, and just about every interview I've seen her do with all the different wrestlers for AEW, Impact, WWE, she just hits right on the mark with the questions, and that's what it makes her interviews very interesting. And it's just phenomenal to see all the great work she's been doing, and I can't wait to see what can't wait to see what else she brings to her YouTube channel and to her blog.
For sure, but let's get to it. All right, now it's time to kick it into business now, boys. The fun is over. It's time to start brawling with our what we're looking forward to and what we're not. And look, there's a big pay-per-view on Sunday, which I have no idea why AEW is doing it on a Sunday, not a Saturday. I love when AEW does it on Saturdays.
It's because there's a UFC event on Saturday.
Well, I don't care, Lyle, all right? So don't be a know-it-all. I don't give a damn what the answer is. I want
you
it on
asked, you don't know why. You say, I don't know why.
care.
I told you why.
Well, I don't want to know why now because you said it. So anyway, no. So AEW Revolution is going to be this Sunday, March the 7th, I believe. I'm sure Bleacher Report, Fight TV, the usual channels it's going to be on, pay-per-view, of course, as well. It's going to be on all those channels, but we want to get into what we liked about, something we liked about Dynamite this week, and then we're going to get into what we liked about Revolution. So, Alex, I'll begin with you first. What is something you thought stood out with Dynamite this week that you thought maybe is a positive or a negative?
So the one thing
going forward.
The one thing that stood out to me the most from AEW Dynamite this week was the interaction between Big Money Matt Hardy and Hangman Adam Page in the Dark Order. I like where the development's going there, but I can't get myself into the Big Money Matt gimmick. For some reason it hasn't warmed up to me enough yet, and I feel like we're better off with the broken Matt Hardy gimmick. But I can understand why AEW made this move, why they decided to go with the Big Money Matt gimmick. And it's because they wanted to add different insight. They wanted to add a bigger twist to the show and makes things more interesting. And by doing that, not only have they helped themselves, but they've helped two young rising stars in AEW Private Party.
For sure.
I agree with him. I think that the Big Money Matt gimmick is not the greatest, but I also think that the broken Matt Hardy gimmick in this environment would be absolutely abysmal and be way worse. You would see all the weaknesses of it that is just very glaring when you don't have a crowd. And that's why it was important to go to a gimmick that didn't need a crowd so much. Like, look at what happened with Orange Cassidy. He needed the crowd for his gimmick. And
yes, you did.
It wasn't the same when there was no fans, and
no,
he's kind of stopped doing a lot of what he usually does without the crowd, because I think characters that rely on a crowd so much, and then you continue doing that, and we've seen how what happens in WWE when you act like the crowd is there when it's very obvious it's not. It comes off as very awkward. It did at first in WWE. AEW did a decent job of adjusting to that, and I think having the crowd at ringside, well, they're extras that were going to be at Dark or guys who weren't on Dynamite that night. But it just Broken Matt Hardy wouldn't work without a crowd. And I think Big Money Matt, it's not the ideal gimmick, but it's better than Broken Matt Hardy right now, I think. But Alex makes a fair point about it.
No, I agree with Alex. I wanted to get your take on this really quick. It's kind of a side thing. I was actually thinking about this last night. Are we enjoying BTE lately, or are we like with it? I'm very mixed with it.
I'm not able to watch it as much, but when I do, I mainly just watch the Dark Order segments because that's the best part of the show.
It is.
They have been the best part of AEW since the pandemic. What they have become from a group that was trying to be serious, but they were all jobbers, to going on BTE and just being absolutely hysterical. You look at what the Young Bucks did, Cody Rhodes and the rest of the Elite to really start AEW was BTE. They got over through that. And you look at what Dark Order is doing, they're doing the same thing. They're getting over through BTE. And that's how, and now they're trying to take that character from BTE and bring it over to Dynamite, and it's changing up the characters a little bit, and I think they're doing a great job. But overall, BTE is not what it used to be. And
that's the reason why I asked. Yeah, that's the reason why I asked. And Alex, I want to get your thoughts on it in a second. But that's Only because now when I feel like when I'm watching BT, I used to be so entertained by it. It was so funny. The whole show was great. Like every segment was great. It was perfect, especially when they were in New Japan. It was awesome. Everything was so Fat Ass Massa was there. It was just kind of like a different vibe. I have him
on Facebook, by the way. He is a great guy.
But it was like, when you had the whole gang together with the Elite and everything like that and everything. But now it's like, now Cody's not on it anymore. Kenny's not really on it anymore. Some of the segments, it's almost like I feel like when I'm watching some of this stuff, it's almost like it's like pulling teeth watching it. I don't even laugh at 95% of the show now. I'm like, this is stupid. Like this is like the, like I don't know.
I watched it last week's episode, and my dad walks in when Sammy Guevara is naked with the BTE championship covering his junk, and it was kind of funny. But then my dad walks in, he looks at the TV. See Sammy Guevara naked, looks at me, and I'm like,
Alex,
I don't know how to explain that.
Alex, have you watched BT at all recently? Or
I watched.
Now, do you like it? Do you not like it? Where are you on it?
So I like it. I'm somewhere in the middle of it. I'm still trying to understand it, but I love how they're pitching the Dark Order every week in BTE. I also did like the little battle they had with LAX and Sammy Guevara and that little fight they had, a little scripted fight in the back. I forget what it was. It was like a ninja fight or something like that. It was
I know. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It was
I'm trying to understand what it was because it was
I'm trying to remember. Oh my god, who was in that fight with who did they go up against? I can't remember.
Vicky Guerrero was there. I know that.
Yeah, well, she always makes random cameos. I only asked this, like I said, because I know it's not Dynamite, but it is AEW related, and it was on my mind because I was watching it even yesterday, and I sat there and I was done watching, and I said, I almost don't even want to watch it anymore. It's so crappy. It's just. But you see, even that. So what made the Dark Order funny? What? I mean,
Brody Lee put a major part in it.
Exactly, and he's not there anymore. And to me, it's just not the same.
I don't know. They had that one segment when they had Hangman ride 10, and that was hysterical.
No, I know what you're talking about, but it's like, to me, when I think of it, it was like,
Or that one segment. Or that one segment when they're all having a sleepover and they're all sitting in the tent.
The slumber party. Yeah. But I don't know. It's like, I get what you're saying, Lyle. I absolutely do. It's just I mean, come on, dude. You're telling me you don't miss Brody Lee calling John Silver a peckerhead?
Oh, 100%.
I mean, come on.
I miss that so much. It was hysterical.
That was I mean, come on. What is it? When who's the other one? Alex Reynolds. He's got his. I think his uncle's. What is it? His what's it called? He's getting oh my god, a bris at the bris, and then Brody Lee takes his robe off and social hits him on the phone and goes, "You're welcome." I mean, come on. That's just so funny because it just you see Brody Lee and the Wyatt family 6 years ago. And then you see Brody Lee on the BTE, and it's like mind blowing. It's like, is this the same guy? You know what I mean? That's just. I just found it to be just an interesting. I just found it to be just an interesting topic. But Lyle, what did you find on Dynamite this week that really caught your attention, good or bad?
I want to say, you look back to where Lance Archer, or how Lance Archer has developed over the years, going from a guy who was in WWE on the main event show that they have, then in New Japan tag teaming with Davey Boy Smith, and then he did that character after Smith went to MLW. He started the Murder Hawk Monster character in New Japan, and it just caught fire. And what he has been doing in AEW, I think, has been fantastic. His match with Phoenix was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it was the best part of the whole show.
Oh yeah,
and
it was.
I'm really excited to see where he goes in that in the ladder match. I hope he wins. I hope he gets the TNT title finally, which I think he should have beat Cody for. I think that was the wrong decision, but I would love to see him get a big push and get the TNT title somewhere down the line soon.
I remember that. that decision. I thought it was a terrible decision that they had.
I think I think the plan was from that point was to have Cody eventually put over Darby. I think that was the entire point that they were doing.
Yeah, I know, but even so, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I wish Arthur won too.
Well, to me, the thing that said to me, and look, it might be biased for me and everything like that, but I love the promos that they're doing with Sting and Darby and FTW.
Yeah, that was
I
awesome.
love it. I mean now
Great.
Sting and Darby are kidnapping Taz's son and putting him in the Bible. I mean, this just adds an element to the rivalry that I think when you see it and you look back on all this stuff, I mean, it's true. Now look, I think Sting will eventually distance himself from Darby and just do his own thing, possibly. I don't know. We'll see where that leads to. But I'm intrigued by this whole match because first off, the street fight is alone. It's down Darby's alley, right? I think we all agree. Darby Allin does whatever he wants when he wants.
He can do just about anything. You've seen what Darby Allin can do in matches.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that I enjoy seeing him do, I've only seen him do it a couple times, or every once in a while he'll do it, but he'll put thumbtacks in the back of his skateboard and then he'll do an ollie off the guy's back and the thumbtacks go in the guy's back. That's something, and that's something I've never seen in wrestling before, and that's a cool element.
Sure.
I know me and Alex spoke about this on the phone earlier, but I hope it's a cinematic match. I have heard reports that Sting is doing. He's taking bumps.
Yeah,
I've heard that. I hope it's not true. But he did take one on Dynamite, but the report was that he's heavily padded, and the ring was padded underneath where they were dropping him. But there were also reports that he was going to be only doing cinematic matches from when he first signed. I don't know what to expect. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, but I'm very cautious because of Sting's past, and I hope they make the right decision.
What are your thoughts on that, Josh? What are your thoughts on Sting possibly doing cinematic?
I mean, I agree with Lyle. I think they have to do it in a way where it's very, they have to be sure that everybody is safe, right? Isn't that the most important thing? You're number one. If you're Tony Khan, the number one priority should be, and even with Vince McMahon and with everybody, is your talent. Your talent safety is the number one priority. That always has to be the case. I mean, Darby, you could trust taking bumps and stuff like that. It's a matter of how much will Sting take in this match and what kind of bumps will he take? Is it going to be like a barbed wire swing to the back or something like that? Is it going to be something like that? I mean, Sting, yeah, you have to remember when Sting was in TNA, he had cinematic matches. He had a barbed wire massacre match with Abyss. So Sting has done this before. This is not something that's out of the realm of, okay, he's never done something like this. This is going to be impossible to pull off. He's been in the ring for 30, 40 plus years, but he doesn't know what he's doing. This guy has done it all, seen it all, lived it all, been through it all. And if I could trust two guys that I think I could trust with this whole thing, one is Sting, and another guy I think that's going to have an integral part in this creativity is going to be Taz. I think Taz is going to have an integral part in this because Taz is a veteran with these kinds of, when you see cinematic matches, you think of like hardcore matches and stuff like that. I think he's somebody you look at. That's why you have in this rivalry, you have two veterans in Sting and in Taz, who are two guys that, Brian, Brian, oh my God, what's his last name?
Cage.
Brian Cage, thank you. Ricky Starks and Sting and Darby Allin can all lean on. Because let's call what it is, guys. These are kids in Sting and Taz's world. They're kids. And they are. And that's why.
So are we.
Exactly. But the thing is, we've seen the cinematic match before. It's different than seeing it and doing it, So that's why I think when you have somebody like Taz in this rivalry and you have somebody like, it's like we keep talking about it's going to be Sting. Sting's in charge of this. Sting knows what he's doing. Sting's heavily lean on this. There's a reason why they put Taz in this rivalry too. Because Taz is another veteran that these guys can lean on and say, okay, how do we pull off this cinematic? That's why it's, what is it, like a street fight? Kind of, it's a street fight. That's why
I wonder if they're going to do it like the PNP and Best Friends street fight.
Oh
can picture
Lord,
it.
I don't know, but that's tough though, man.
They've already established where the street fight is, though.
I
Technically,
know, but dude, don't. Dude, this is Sting 60-something years old coming off a thoracic
it would be a terrible decision.
God almighty.
It would be dumb as hell.
I think it'd be a great match. You
I
just
do
want to
too.
make sure you want to make sure
might
Sting
die.
comes out of this
Everybody's
thing
safe.
okay. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. You want to make sure that Sting is okay coming out of this, right? That's the
gonna be
most
difficult.
important thing. And it is going to be difficult, but that's why you have a partner like Darby Allin who can take most of the bumps, can take most of the action, and Sting is there to the assist, to be the hero, to be the guy that helps when he needs to. He swings the baseball bat. He does what he does. You know, the Stinger splash, the death drop, 1, 2, 3, stuff like that.
Splash into a car.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you could if you really wanted to. Listen, he could suplex Ricky Starks on a window. I'm sure Ricky Starks, Ricky Starks, like Alex said, he already had thumbtacks from Darby Allin skateboarding to his back. I would imagine at this point, a car windshield can't be any worse than that.
I don't know. I think the windshield would be worse.
I don't know
That
about
glass
that.
shards
The glass shards is fine, but you're having thousands of pointy things going into your back.
Some
sticking in
tacks
there.
don't do much to you, though.
Really? So next time I'll try it on you with a skateboard and we'll see how you react.
We'll do it. We'll do it Sunday before the pay-per-view. We'll go live on the
we'll
Matt Facebook page.
You know what? Let's just do it to Matt. Matt
Okay, I'm down.
Alex doesn't know who Matt is. Matt's a friend of ours who doesn't
Ask
watch
him how it
wrestling.
feels.
He doesn't watch any wrestling at all, so he's coming to watch the pay-per-view with us because he's intrigued by this barbed wire death match. So he's like, come on, watch. So we're just going to involve him in any massacre kind of stuff we're going to do that night. We'll film it and we'll put it on the Twitter page for Off the Mat. We'll put it on the website too. But let's get to basically really quick before we go to break in a few minutes. Let's get to Revolution. And my thoughts are this has a chance to be the best AEW pay-per-view they've ever produced. When you look at the card and you look at the way the matches are going, I mean, they're doing something that's never been done in the United States before. That alone can overtake any work that AEW's ever done before. So, Alex, give me a match that you're most looking forward to. Now, don't think about it for a minute. Don't say the obvious, which is the barbed wire death match, because I know all of us here are interested at how that's going to look. But, like, if you wanted to pick that, you can, but be more detailed as to why. But what is something you're most looking forward to with Revolution? Lyle, you'll go after.
I'm looking forward to the Young Bucks taking on MJF and Chris Jericho. And based on what happened last week, I like how they put a spin on it into it going into this pay-per-view. You saw that the Young Bucks' father was attacked and brutally assaulted backstage by MJF and Chris Jericho. And then the Young Bucks tried to come to his aid, and you saw, I think it was Nick or Matt, one of them was chasing the car.
Matt was.
Yeah, as they were driving away. So this is going to be personal for the Young Bucks. This is going to be a personal fight between these two teams now, because MJF and Chris Jericho, they're very good at getting under people's skin and just taking shots any way they can to take advantage of a team like this, and they're trying to make the Young Bucks vulnerable. And this is a good way to do it. So I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested to see how this match goes. And I think it's going to be MJF and Chris Jericho that win this match.
Lyle, give me something that is intriguing you a lot about Revolution. What's a match that really sticks out to you the most?
Now we're not talking about the barbed wire death match. And
I mean, you can if you want.
You said that as a rule. I'm going to stick to it.
Okay.
Now, with what Alex said, the Young Bucks deliver every match they have. I'm not worried about that match. But, let's talk about the rest of the card. You said it could be the best pay-per-view they had. I don't know what to expect from this card. You could have Nyla Shida again, and I will stab myself in the eyes if I have to watch another Nyla Rose match on a pay-per-view. I think
it is happening, isn't it? Nyla won.
No, she won the American bracket. She is now facing Ryo, whatever her name is, to win for the overall tournament. I really hope Ryo wins, because I really don't want to see Nyla Rose again. I am so tired of watching her. I really am. I think she is terrible in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their obsession is.
Yeah.
When we picked this segment
Yeah.
I was gonna say Thunder Rosa and Sheeta. That's not happening. Now let's talk about the rest of the card. Now you have the ladder match, which isn't done yet. You have that tag team battle royal, which that's going to be probably on the buy-in. Then you have Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. You have Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page. What am I missing? Because the rest of this card, besides the Young Buck match and the Kenny Omega match,
Sting.
I honestly, the Sting match, yes.
Sting garbage. That's 3 matches.
Which, if Sting doesn't pull Matt Hardy and get knocked out, like, the match could probably be pretty good. But, like, let's be real. The rest of the card is not very good. You look at that and you think about the matches, it's nothing crazy.
It's nothing crazy, but I think you know what it is? The reason why I say what I say is because the card, it doesn't look great, but there are a couple of things that stand out. The Sting match.
Let's look at what Revolution did a year ago. That was the best pay-per-view of 2020.
Year ago.
And I think that is by far the best pay-per-view they have ever done, and it's going to be very hard to top that. You look at that entire card, up to down. That was a great pay-per-view.
Well, you do have the ladder match. That could be
It could be. Now they're going to have one mystery guy in it. It depends on who that is. I want to hope that they have Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker too. If they do that, which there are talks that they might, I've heard people suspecting it, then I am very much going to pick that match as my one to look forward to. They had a phenomenal match the first time. I think Britt Baker has gotten immensely better in the ring. Thunder Rosa is Thunder Rosa. She's probably one of the top 3 female wrestlers in the world today.
Watch what you say.
She's one of the top 3 female wrestlers today. I think that match could be phenomenal. Their first match was great, and I if they do that, I would. That's my pick.
I only look at it like this, and the reason why I said what I said is this: I have about 3 or 4 matches I'm very much looking forward to seeing. The ladder match being one. Sting Darby versus Cage and Stars because of the intrigue of that match. The Young Bucks always deliver. And the exploding barbed wire death match. So that's 4 matches on the card that I'm very much looking forward to seeing, where it will stand out to where I could say, okay, this makes it, and depending on how good the matches are.
I'm also very disappointed, that we're seeing Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF.
Of course, you want to see Gallows Anderson. Of course,
no,
everybody did.
I said it before the show. I've said it before on the show. I wanted Pride and Powerful to beat the Young Bucks. Do them 2 versus MJF and Jericho, and then do Bucks versus Good Brothers. That's what I wanted. I think that would have been better story development, and I think that would have been a better overall card.
I agree with you. No, that's very much fair. I agree. I think that definitely would have been. It would have added more depth to the card for sure.
Because with the Kenny Omega, with the Young Bucks and MJF and Chris Jericho, they didn't really go into an in-depth storyline as much there. They kind of just pieced they kind of just pieced it little by little, and
it was a little awkward.
Yeah, it was a little awkward. They didn't give us much there,
which is disappointing because they have the deepest tag team division in wrestling.
They still do.
And no, I know. That's what I said. They do. I said they do.
I thought you said they had. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I said they have. And, you have all these great tag teams, like Lucha Brothers, Jurassic Express, FTR, all these teams. And you put a tag team in there that's not really formed as a tag team.
Yeah, they're not developed. They're not
developed. It's for a storyline for
I know
it's for nothing.
No, I know it's for a storyline, but at the same time, this is the thing because Kenny and Hangman won the tag team belts already too. So if Jericho and MJF win it too, that's now 2 of the 4 teams that have ever won the tag team championships.
You're 100% correct.
That's just so weird to me. I mean, it just throws me off because you have their tag team division is stacked.
Remember what their criticism was for why they were going to be not their criticism towards AEW. What they were doing to criticize other people and other promotions for why they were going to make their tag division so much better. They said they weren't going to be having random tag.
And then meanwhile, where's FTR? Where's FTR right now?
They're fighting the
Jurassic Express.
I think they're in the Battle Royal, which it's kind of stupid. But if they're going to be doing Young Bucks versus FTR,
I know it's going to be in front of a crowd. I know.
Yeah.
It's going to be in front of a crowd. I know.
Yeah.
I understand, and I completely get that. That's totally fine. But ever since FTR lost the belts, it's where are they going? This is like WWE all over again with them. Why are we losing them in the shuffle?
I thought about that too. I don't know I don't know what's going on with FTR.
They're too good to be doing. And look, their matches with Jurassic Express is good, but the fact that I have Jungle Boy beating Dax, it's just so random to me. And now I got Tully Blanchard wrestling on Wednesday.
Well,
we took out how this thing is.
Arn Anderson said that you're not going to don't expect much from Tully Blanchard. He's probably going to do like one or two moves.
Good.
Maybe I don't know what to expect fully, but based off of what Arn Anderson said, don't expect much.
We're worried about Sting's age. Yeah, Tully Blanchard's going to be on freaking Dynamite Wednesday, right?
Very fair. That's a very fair criticism.
It's so like look, why are we going to get Ric Flair back in and start having him wrestle?
The only way.
FTR doesn't need this. They don't need this, FTR. They don't need this.
They don't. But that does give me an idea for Tully Blanchard's match on Wednesday. What if they had Jungle Boy with one arm tied behind his back fighting Tully Blanchard?
Have it be Marco. Have it be Marco.
Actually, have it be Marco.
Yeah, have it be Marco. That would be.
There you go. That's intriguing.
Jungle Boy, that's not good for him. I'm very high on Jungle Boy. I think he's gonna be great, but do it to Marco Stunt, who I really don't give.
It's just throwing me off. I'm having in my head. I know we got to go to break, but I'm just having in my head the stacked list of tag teams that AEW has. I'm gonna be so pissed off if MJF and Jericho win on Sunday.
I will too. Yeah.
This is this is awful.
And you know how much I love the Young Bucks, but it had nothing to do with that.
It's like. You have about 9 or 10 dominant tag teams on the roster, and you're just putting together these tag teams.
There's so many different directions you can go with these tag teams. You have the Acclaimed, you have the Varsity Blonde.
Proud and Powerful.
However, to be fair,
Proud and Powerful haven't been anything since they've got here.
To be fair, to AEW doing that, and also to WWE who does that. New Japan does this every year when they have the World Tag League. They put random guys together all the time.
I know.
I thought Finju started.
Finju's
great.
Don't even get me started on New Japan's tag team division. It is the worst. It is almost as bad as WWE's. It is the worst.
Since War Machine left.
Holy crap.
It's like putting
War Machine left. It's god awful.
Dude, it's worse than WWE. It's
bad.
Division.
It's GOD, and that's it.
How's this fighting? And honestly, GOD is constantly commenting at the end of their post-match comments to the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks and Omega. They're not even talking about the tag teams in their own company. They're talking about their company.
It's like
what are we doing?
Gosh. It's like having GOD take on Tomoaki Honma and Tomohiro Ishii. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
But they do that. That's what they do.
Hold on. And Alex, I've said this to you before. Lyle, you know how I feel about GOD. What do I think of GOD? They are the most in the tag team division? The most overrated team in the tag team division. They have never had a match.
So wait, me and you did this on Takedown Breakdown.
And I have said that's the match that I remember GOD being in. I have never seen a match that they've made it memorable.
Me and you did this on Takedown Breakdown. Mm-hmm. I said I thought they were near top 5. And then we sat there and we rattled off tag teams and we came to the conclusion at the end of that they might not even be top 15.
Yeah, I remember. And Alex, I remember Alex, you had him number, I think 2 or 1.
Yeah, I did.
I flipped.
We had this entire conversation. We went down and listed tag teams, and then we were like, "Wait a minute, we haven't even listed God yet."
I
listed. Are they better than all these guys? Like,
no, because I listed. I listed tag when we did the tag team listing. I listed it. I don't remember the order, but the 5 I remember. I had Undisputed Era. I had Red Dragon in there. I had the New Day. I had the Briscoes. I had the Young Bucks, and I had the Lucha Brothers.
Lucha Bros.
Those are the teams.
I remember that.
And the reason why, the Briscoes have accomplished a crap ton in pro wrestling. The New Day, the same thing on the biggest company of them all. They have become and they've had memorable matches against the Usos.
They have, yeah.
And the Dudleys as well. You remember. Red Dragon speaks for itself. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, they speak for themselves.
They're phenomenal.
And then you have the Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. And even you could put FTR in there if you really want, but lately FTR is not there because they don't do anything.
They're still putting on quality matches, though.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's talk about their match with Jungle Boy. Like, the match that Dax had with Jungle Boy.
Oh, okay, hold on.
That match was phenomenal.
But, hold on. I'm going to ask Alex this. Alex, was that a singles match or was that a tag team match?
That was the singles match.
Thank you. It's not a tag team match, so it does not count, so therefore it's disqualified. And on that note, we are going to take a break because we are way overdue for a break. Alex is going to flip at the clock. We hope you fans are enjoying the show tonight. We're having a ball here. I got to tell you, when we come back, we're going to get to some WWE stuff. There's a lot that's going on in the last 24 hours. There's a new WWE champion. I don't know how these guys feel, but Can
I go first when we do this?
Hold on.
Can I go first?
Hold on.
I want to go first.
You're like my students in school. I am going to tell you why Bobby Lashley being the new WWE champion was the greatest decision WWE has made in quite some time.
And I'm going to tell you why that entire role is horrible.
Well, that's an easy thing, but Bobby Lashley winning the championship was the only good moment. And there's something going on with NXT. We'll let you know what it is when we come back. We'll give you a hint. They're changing days here on Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing bottom line. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
we rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals, but I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Everybody's got a prize. Rest in peace.
Welcome back to Off the Mats with Alex Lowe's and Josh Silverberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live on Off the Mat. I guess we're kind of in between the first half of the second hour. So, because
we're in the third quarter.
I will tell you this: that moment right there between the three of us, that felt like takedown breakdown to me a little bit. I had that takedown breakdown vibe. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But you know what? Alex has now been initiated into it. So
congratulations.
Alex, there you go, Alex. You're officially involved in
You're
the
initiated into a defunct radio show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Josh Silverberg. Of course, along with me, Loud Gillen and Alex Slows. We are here on Off the Mat. Again, really quick, before we get into the stuff with WWE, we want to talk to you about how you could download our app. It is so important. It is so vital to this network for what we're doing. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Store, type in WWSRN, and Android, you go to the Google Play Store, you type in Worldwide Sports, WorldwideSportsRadio.com as well. You can check out all of our free articles. Like I said, Alex has written so many great stuff the last few weeks. It's really good. Check it out for sure. You can watch recaps of the show, clips from the show. If you missed the show at all, check out our schedule of what's going to be going on. Our bios about everything. I know, Lyle, you still got to get that bio in. So
yeah, I do.
For sure.
I will. Don't worry.
The fans want to know about you.
Wait, people give a shit about me?
Well, I didn't say
I know. I know you don't.
I don't know if Alex does, so I don't know. Alex,
you didn't say a word, so I'm going to say no.
Oh,
he still has to say, oh man, You're putting the pressure on me, man. No, but listen, there's so much good stuff on there, so much good content. We want you to check it out. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope. We're all over the place. On the ticker as well, that Alex has shown our information that you can reach out to us as well on Twitter at Show Slows, Lyle OTM, and myself, Josh Silverberg. So let's get to some WWE stuff here, and I guess we'll start with the breaking news. I guess it kind of makes sense about NXT, right, guys?
Yeah,
I mean, we heard
the
news. Yeah, we heard the news earlier today. Lyle tweeted it, and then Alex confirmed it that the reports are starting April 13th on Tuesday nights. NXT is going to be going on Tuesdays. I'm guessing they're still going to stay on the USA Network, is what I'm guessing.
Well, Fightful confirmed it. I would like to give them the credit for that. That was all. Fightful confirmed it, and Matt podcast or something they reported it. So I don't want people to misinterpret what you said that I reported anything or Alex did.
Well, I think they know what they mean by you sending it to me. They know what I mean by that. And if they listen, you don't have those inside sources to be able to report that anyway. So if people believe that, then they're sad. So I'm just saying. But the thing is this, we look at the schedule going forward now. It's going to be Monday Night Raw Mondays, NXT Tuesdays, Dynamite Wednesdays, SmackDown Fridays, also Impact Tuesdays, and you're going to have New Japan. You're going to have pay-per-views on Saturdays and Sundays, which is generally when they are. So you're talking, like I said, Raw Monday, NXT Impact Tuesday, AEW Wednesday, Friday SmackDown, pay-per-views, and New Japan. Yeah, and Power's coming back too. But they're on they're on Fight, but they're also on at 4 or 4:30. They're on during the day. Anyway.
But you could watch it at any time. The same thing with the Ring of Honor shows, so that they would go on there and you could watch them at any time you want. It's not you have to watch it only when it's live.
Alex, I'll start with you first on this. What are your thoughts with NXT moving on Tuesday nights? Because I know for a fact, Lyle and I have discussed this, and even you and I have discussed this on time to time. What are your thoughts on the move? And we've asked guests this too on if we think they should move or not.
I think I thought it was a smart idea to move it to Tuesday nights because now NXT has more time to come up with ideas during the weekend and into Monday instead of just having to rush everything going into a Wednesday night show, because now they have more time to prep, and now their storylines might be more developed this time, because we've seen storylines where Legado del Fantasma against Breezango, that wasn't really developed as much now, and I think we're going to see more development into different stories and outlooks on NXT.
Lyle.
I'm going to say this right now. NXT is a great product. They do phenomenal in-ring work, but their biggest Achilles heel was that they did too much to try and counter-program AEW. They did a lot, and they forced a lot of matches early when they didn't really need them. And I think – I'm sorry. What's up, Alex?
I was going to agree with you. Yeah, NXT kept countering back AEW on a Wednesday night, and that to me is just too much pressure on NXT. And now that they have their own night, they don't have to worry about that stuff anymore.
No, they don't.
They can go any route they want.
You look back at what AEW does. For the most part, they don't directly counter-program what NXT does. They would still continue their storylines. If NXT did a big match, they would still continue trying to build. And I'm very excited to have NXT on their own night. So now that they can show what they are capable of live without direct competition, and they could build their storylines, develop wrestlers, and do everything without having to worry about counter-programming another company, without having to worry about rushing a match. I want to see what they're going to be able to do now. I hope they go on a roll. I hope they are the NXT of old that we know can be amazing. And they haven't been that for a majority of the year. Now, that's mainly because of the pandemic, but I want to see what they can do on Tuesday nights, and I think that it's best thing for them, and I'm very happy it's happening.
Alex, are you still there? Oh, here he comes. It looked like he was sleeping.
Back.
It looked like that was the perfect freeze frame picture because it looked like during Lyle's response, Alex was like this. Like, this is putting me to sleep. You know, but he's back. Alex, you back from your nap? He's
Can you hear us,
now,
Alex?
Alex, can you hear us?
Oh, what happened there?
That's okay. Do you hear us, though? And this is
I can hear you now.
Okay. And this is why Speedy's going. We want Alex to focus. That's what we want. But we'll let Alex fix his technical difficulties for a second. Really quick.
So, Josh, what do you think about it? I'll ask you that.
Well, I think to me it's a perfect scenario. I think we have discussed this over and over and over again. We've asked special guests on this show. We've talked about it when we did Takedown Breakdown.
Hold on, I want to pause you for a second. I want to pause you. If you squint, Alex kind of looks like Santino Marella.
Yes, he does. Oh my God! Do you have a U.S. Open Championship match tonight?
Do you have a Cobra in your pocket?
Oh my goodness! But
he's gone.
No, he's coming back. But anyway, going back to what I was saying before,
Santino!
Alex, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I don't know what's going on with the connection in here, but sorry for the technical difficulty, everybody. I have no clue why my Wi-Fi went out during that whole discussion, but I'm trying to get it back up.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to sync back in. There you go. I think you got it. So, I was saying, in regards to how, listen, they're going to get the viewership back. The viewership is going to come back because
I hope so.
Again, there's no counter product unless you want to go on Twitch and watch Impact, which I don't think Impact has that kind of fan base that's really going to really shift the power. Yes, you could. You could do that. You could watch on your phone or your
watch
computer.
Impact on your phone or your tablet and watch NXT online.
The fans are going to come back. They're going to come back. NXT is going to. This is better for them. It's better for them in the long run. Listen. They tried. I understood what they were trying to do. It didn't work. They also, this was a blessing in disguise for the NHL moving their stuff to the USA Network because NXT was now forced to move. Otherwise, they would have continued to be on Wednesdays and get slaughtered in the ratings.
One thing people need to realize is that majority of the NXT and AEW fan base watch each other's product.
Yes, you do.
I'll say 95% of the fan bases don't hate on the other show.
Let me ask you this
watch
loud.
The other show.
Let me ask you this loud. Do you watch both shows?
Yeah, I do.
When you look at both products, this had to be done for NXT. It was necessary. It was like I said, you could thank the NHL for really stepping up and basically having to force NXT out of Wednesdays. Because, again, they would have kept going on Wednesdays. But we think it's a good move. Let's get to Monday Night Raw last night. I know Alex is in here. He'll rejoin us when he's ready. Yeah, it was pretty much a snooze fest.
I want to go first with this. And you want to say why.
You don't want to at least bring up the good moment?
No. I'm going to say why it was, like, the entire way they booked that, and you're saying it's Bobby Lashley winning. The entire way they booked that was terrible. Of course it was. They took their top heel faction in the company. Earlier in the show, they had their tag team wrestling as heels. Then, throughout the show, they're slowly making Lashley kind of like a face. Not intentionally. And then he wins, and he squashes him, which is very unheel-like. And you look at the reaction on social media, and everyone's really happy about it. They unintentionally made him a face. So now you have your top heel faction with a tag team and a manager that are heels. And then you have your single star in that faction as a face. It's just really weird. I don't know how they're now going to turn him back into being a hated heel.
Because they're gonna have him face McIntyre at Mania.
They're gonna have him facing McIntyre, but if he's liked by the people because he's champion, they're
still gonna cheer for Drew. They're still gonna cheer for Drew.
You mean the button that they press to make people cheer? Of course they are.
Well, no, I mean I'm talking about the one at WrestleMania where there's actually fans in the stands.
Yes, I forgot about them.
Yeah,
I did.
How? That's a brain
melt. It's been a year.
Well, we were supposed to go last year.
We were, and stupid effing COVID. And if we can actually go back, I want to call them out.
Alicia may know to that for sure.
Who did we have on our show?
Alicia Atout?
No. On Takedown Breakdown, just before WrestleMania last year.
Justin LeBar. Oh, no, Slice Wrestling.
Yes. He said that we're still going to have WrestleMania. Slice, if you're listening, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. You said we were still going to have WrestleMania.
No. And
he did.
But you agreed with him, and I was the one in the room that I said.
Did. Yes, you did. You were the only one who said it would be canceled.
And I said, this pandemic's going to get so bad, they're not going to have a chance to cancel. And I remember who else? Justin was there. Yeah, Slice was telling me, you were telling, you're crazy. WWE would never cancel WrestleMania. It's too big. Blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. And 2 weeks later, WrestleMania is now in the Performance Center with no fans. I said, this got so. I mean, like, you all thought that Access was still going to happen. They were just going to put hand sanitizer out for people to wash their hands.
That's what we were being told to do back then, though.
I literally
I
said, you guys are crazy. People go. I said, go look at Europe. Go look at Italy. People were dying left and right in Italy.
You're right.
And you all think you're still going to have WrestleMania. I said, you're crazy if you think hand sanitizer.
By the way, I think you're right. So, record that moment, write it down, put it on your calendar.
I'm just continuing this.
But I gotta say, it's gonna be weird. They have to build him up as a monster again, as a monster heel to lose to Drew, which I think is what they're gonna do.
They're figuring it out. They'll figure it out. They're gonna. Why he's gonna be a monster? So you're still confident in
You're still confident in that company?
No, I'm not confident in the company. I'm confident in the storyline of how they're going to build him into a heel because they're going to make him come off as a douchebag.
I hope. I really do hope.
Oh, I have no.
MVP has done a phenomenal job.
Faith in the company. No, I lost faith in the company years ago.
But no, I have a lot of faith in MVP. He's done a phenomenal job. I think he can continue to make him a heel, but I'm just trying to figure out how you make him go from a heel unintentionally to a face, and then you make him a monster heel again for WrestleMania.
Dude,
I'm wearing the span of what, 2 months?
I'm wearing a WWE, which is enough time, by the way. That's plenty of time. If they screw it up, listen, I will tell you this. Drew versus Bobby, if you go back, watch their matches in the Independence.
Yeah, great job at Impact. They did an amazing job at Impact.
And not even Impact, they did other matches too on the independent scene. And they have great chemistry together. And I think what you're doing here is you're giving. This is where I give Vince the credit that he doesn't usually get. But this is what Vince is doing. He's giving two guys that deserve their moment at WrestleMania.
Yes, and I love it that they're doing this.
He is giving. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre are both getting their moment.
Well, we know of 3 matches so far for WrestleMania, and
which are good ideas.
Yeah, I like the 3 matches. You have Sasha, Bianca. You have
Sasha Bianca's the main event.
That's gonna be the best match of the entire WrestleMania.
Oh,
then you're gonna have
main event one of the nights.
Roman Edge, most likely. I don't think they did confirm it.
Yeah, you're
actually now. Yes, I am. I wasn't at first, but now you're gonna have Bobby and Drew, which they've done good things in the past. If they let them do what they can do, which they did not do to AJ and Shinsuke, let them do what they can, and that match can be great. There's 3 matches that could be very memorable. This could be a great WrestleMania if they really let them wrestle.
It really is, and it's 2 nights. So just remember, it is 2 nights this year. So I would imagine.
Do you think we do Sasha Asuka now? Because Lacey Evans is hurt.
You mean Charlotte?
I think we
Asuka?
do. Yeah.
As long as Asuka's, I mean, as you said Sasha.
I did not.
You said Charlotte. Yeah, that's okay. As long as Asuka's healthy enough to do it after what happened to her last week.
Yeah.
As long as she's okay.
I think they could still do it.
I mean, she got kicked in the head and lost her tooth by Shayna Baszler. So as long as she's okay and healthy to do it, then I think. Listen, Asuka Charlotte had a great first match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they did. When Charlotte ended her streak, that was a great match.
Yeah.
Now people want to crap all over Charlotte, but Charlotte delivers. She does. She's one of the best women and wrestlers in the world. You can hate on her all you want. There's a reason why she gets all these championship wins.
I think she's the best women's wrestler in the world. I think she's.
I agree with you. And people want to
It's because of the name and all the wins that she gets. Yes.
But people want to also attack Tessa Blanchard for what she has done in the past. But she has never actually been able to compete against the female talent in WWE. And the likes of Charlotte.
But more stories are coming out about her.
She's up there.
Now. Yeah, but more stories are coming out about her now.
I have heard. I think she's going to go to Stardom.
Listen. You remember me? I have a Tessa Blanchard shirt. You remember me? I'm as big a Tessa Blanchard fan as there is.
Hey, I used to be a big Bodie fan. I don't wear his shirt anymore. I will not wear his shirt.
And now the things have come out. It's going to be tough, but
yeah,
I mean, I look at I like where Mania's going this year. I actually agree. I agree.
I
think what they're you talk about building superstars. And
they are doing that right now, yeah.
And listen, say what you want about Edge winning the Royal Rumble match.
He's gonna put over Roman.
And even if Roman does put over Edge, which could happen, it's fine because what it does is it leads to a storyline, and Edge gets the moment that he rightfully deserves. Because let's face it, the injury that he came back from, nobody thought he was gonna come back, but they. And you remember, we asked Raj Giri this 3 weeks ago. Raj said exactly what I said in my article about Edge, saying that he didn't know if it was the right decision, but he agreed with why it had to be done because you're trying to deliver WrestleMania in a non. Well, I said it before he even said it, and you screamed at me.
Well, okay. At first, I was very much against it. In the long run, when I really think about it, it's not as bad as I made it out to be. It's not. It's not as bad.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, dude. You're in a non-travel city of Tampa in a pandemic era where you have to sell tickets. You don't have Undertaker. You don't have John Cena. You're doing it in a in a non-popular city, not New York, not New Orleans, not LA. And you're trying to sell tickets in a pandemic era where fans are still feeling unsettled and unsafe, where you have to put a draw. If you don't have John Cena, you don't have The Rock, you don't have The Undertaker. How else are you going to bring fans, the older fans, into the seats at Mania?
The casuals.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something.
You need a Hall of Famer. You need a Hall of Famer.
We're talking about Edge. We're talking about Edge.
We're talking about Edge. Yeah. We're talking about Edge. So you need to have that fan base.
You do.
Where you can bring the casual fan in there. And listen, they're saving Rock Roman for LA. I don't care when they're doing it for LA at 39. I don't care.
That's the right decision. And we're going to go for that.
It's not going to be in Dallas next year. It's not in Tampa this year. They're doing it in LA at SoFi Stadium. That's where it should be done. I don't care. Don't jump the gun early. Don't do it in Dallas. You do it in LA. That should be the facts of how it should go down. Okay? John Cena has said he can't do Mania this year because of his schedule and because of COVID. He's under contract with movies. He really doesn't feel safe doing it this year. Undertaker is retired. They had a freaking special about him already. And if he does come back, it was a waste of a damn great special. Okay?
Would you be shocked in this company?
Hulk Hogan can't do it. Okay.
Remember what Mark Henry did?
No.
Hulk Hogan can't do it. Shawn Michaels can't do it. Triple H has said he's completely done. Triple H has said, I'm done. I have to focus on NXT right now. I have
Wait,
to
we
focus
saw
on
his
NXT.
last match? We saw
Triple
his
H?
last match live. Yeah, we did. We saw his last match in front of fans. WrestleMania 35.
Yes, we
I
did
think that was
against
his last
Batista.
match.
Yes,
And
we
we
did
saw
against
Batista's last
Batista.
match.
Yes. Yes, we
I don't
did.
know if he wrestled after that, Triple H.
I don't know if he did.
I
have
don't
to
think
look
he
that
did.
up. We saw. Get this. This is gonna blow Alex's mind. Lyle and I, we were at the Undertaker's last ever victory when he had the undefeated streak.
Yes, we were. In
Think about it for a
29,
second. Did you even think about that?
Crazy.
Did you
That's
even think
nuts.
about that? Which, by the way, as Lyle was screaming for the Undertaker during that match, I was like the only loser screaming for CM Punk in that section. As I was for Fandango. I went ape shit I went ape shit when Fandango beat Chris Jericho.
Oh no, that match didn't happen.
WrestleMania.
What match did you want that didn't happen? It was a Fandango match what, next year?
Oh man, I love Damian Sandow. Oh man,
That was the match you wanted.
That was bullshit. Let me tell you something. The whole stadium was cheering for Jericho. I had to have been one of the only few 100 people rooting for Fandango. And when he won, I went crazy. They dropped the ball so hard on him. He was so over.
Remember the train ride home?
Oh, that was great.
That was great.
Oh, man, Alex, you had to be there, man. It was good shit, dude. Don't mind my cursing, but it was so good. No, it was so good. I mean, but
okay, so do we want to go to our segment now?
Yes.
That,
so let's go to our Alex. Let Alex go first because I feel bad. Alex got cut off with the.
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to explain the rules. Everyone knows the game F, Marry, Kill. Now F is a I'm abbreviating for another word. This is kind of a different
really?
game.
Don't say.
We'll twist on it. This is going to be called Push, Fire, Job. Now I'm going to pull a name out of this hat, and you're going to say if you would push them, fire them, or job them.
Okay.
You're not going to do one for each three. You don't have to. You're just going to pick one of those three for whoever we grab.
Hold on,
So
before we start with that, it's like Spectrum just took a major crap on my Wi-Fi. It's so bad.
It's all good now. You're here for this, and we can have some laughs while we.
Whatever you do not use Spectrum. Like it's they're
Oh no, we're worse. We have Cablevision up here. We're worse. Don't worry.
Optimum, I mean, you have to remember, Optimum crapped on my Wi-Fi last week. So now next week's Lyle's turn.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Okay,
go.
Push, fire, or job for Bo Dallas.
Oh man.
Job.
Why?
I want to say fire. What the hell does he do with his company?
He was great
Nothing.
in NXT.
He was. But then they brought him up with say, "Here you go, here's a gimmick. You're gonna straight up fail at."
Come on, the Believe thing was so over. Are you kidding me? That was so over. It was funny as shit. Are you kidding me? He's running on the ring like he won something. I mean, come on, man.
The funniest part was when he told Brock
I'm sorry.
Lesnar.
By the way, I should not be cursing. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
The funniest
I'm
part-
exhausted. Now my dog's running around. I think I might fire my dog soon in like 5 minutes. I might fire her next.
The funniest thing to me was Bo
Okay,
Dallas.
so you have to pick. So you picked job. I said fire. What are you gonna do?
Oh. I'll go with fire. I'm not going to make him succumb to jobbing. He's too talented to be a jobber. Alex loves my answers. It's great.
Okay, the next one, Ricochet.
Oh my God, you kidding me? It's push to the moon.
Push.
It should easily be push. I'm at the
as far as possible.
Hold on, I'm almost at the point of fire, so he could go somewhere else and be better.
Go to New Japan.
Yes. Especially with Hiromu.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Especially with
Fire
Hiromu
and
being
go to
out.
New Japan.
Especially with Hiromu being out now.
Yeah.
Wait, Hold on, really quick. I know we were doing something. Did we like the idea of El Desperado winning the IWGP?
I like that
belt?
actually. I like El Desperado.
Did you like it, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
liked
good.
it. You thought it was a good idea. I
Yeah.
just wanted your thoughts on that. I thought it was interesting. They gave him a
Okay.
shot. Good. Okay, go.
The next one is Jungle Boy.
Oh, that's
Push.
definitely a push.
That's definitely
Push,
a push,
push.
dude. TNT
Yeah.
title. Put him in a TNT title picture. He has shown time and time again how great. Forget tag team wrestling, how great of a singles competitor he is.
And now they gave him a new theme song. I
love the theme song.
I cannot
Yeah,
wait.
that was his GCW theme song.
Oh, I love the theme song. No,
Like his
my
AEW.
God.
Crowds are back and people start chanting along to that. It's going to be great.
They're doing it now. It's great. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Good catch,
Okay.
Alex. That was good stuff.
This is the last one. Marco Stunt.
Ugh, job.
Job him.
Are
Fire.
you kidding me? You hate him, huh? You
I
hate
hate
him.
Marco Stunt.
Dude, he's so
I
annoying.
really don't like him. Actually, no. I'm gonna create a new category.
Why? Why not let him job?
Let him-
Zero stuff.
No, let him be eaten by an Allen Rose.
Listen, you could say that, but now, dude, Nyla Rose eats big steaks bigger than Marco Stunt, so it doesn't even fill her appetite.
We all do.
I think Alex saw her at Publix the other day. She bought out the whole store. Alex got to go home early. All right. So, what was the next thing we were going to do? Like the trivia thing we're doing?
Oh yeah. I have 3 questions we can do.
Okay, let's go. Shoot, and then we'll do our finisher after.
Yes. Now, who was the first IWGP Heavyweight Champion?
Oh my God! What the hell kind of question is that?
Okay. Can you go?
I'm thinking.
I thought Alex was frozen again. I'm not gonna lie. He just didn't move. I thought Spectrum crashed. I thought Spectrum took a really big.
I was about to say Spectrum came in the clutch again.
Oh my God! It's time to talk to your father about that, Alex.
Yeah, it's called get a better company instead of shitty Spectrum.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, maybe Lyle should ask Charlie who the Nationals are going to get as a left-handed bat. Maybe they should freaking figure out who
It was a right-handed bat.
Whatever. Maybe they should figure out who they're going to get for their Wi-Fi in their house.
Wait a minute. Did Alex just curse?
Yes, he did. He never does either. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, so take a guess at the first ever IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Oh God. I know. Oh no, it's not him. No.
You're not even going to get me on it.
No.
It's Inoki.
Inoki?
Really?
Inoki. Okay, my next question, because I want to have time for the finisher. Name the 4 horsemen that are currently in AEW.
Tully
Okay,
Blanchard.
I got Tully Blanchard, Arn
one.
Anderson.
Arn Anderson. Yep.
Hold on. Sting.
Yep, that's it.
No, you said there were 4.
There's 3.
Oh, it's 3?
4 horsemen that are currently
Sting
in AEW.
was in it. Sting was in it for
1
month.
year. No,
Was
I
it
think
a
it was
year
a
or
year.
a month? It was 1 year.
It was one- I think it was 1 year.
Ric Flair turned on him. Mm-hmm. It was the match. I remember the match. Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman versus Sting and Ric Flair.
And that's it, because we're running out of time. We have to do our
All right. So, guys, what a great first show. Let's end it with our finisher. Lyle, go first.
I'm going to go, and I think is the most disgusting thing to come out in a while. It came out today. There was a charity event. It was going to be for women, and AEW is going to be sending out wrestlers to go to the event. I want to applaud Tony Khan for pulling all of his talent, but what came out was that Joey Ryan was on the show. But that's not the only thing that came out. Joey Ryan was booking the show. He was promoting the show. Behind the scenes, hiding it from everybody. That is disgusting. After all the shit he did,
Yeah.
Joey Ryan is going to try and book a charity event for women. And then Tony Khan even questioned it. Was it actually a real charity? Was it for a real charity event? We have every right to know. People probably bought tickets to this. Was he just trying to scam everybody? Because I think he would have. I think that's exactly what he was doing. It's disgusting as shit.
Yeah, I read that today too. I saw that. And I do applaud, like you said, I applaud Tony Khan for stepping in and knowing what's the best decision for. He's saving him and his brand. It's his brand too.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and that's the right answer. Alex, yours, man. What's going on with you?
My finishing move is we got the New Japan Cup was announced, the bracket for 2021, and I'm very, very interested to see how this turns out, how it starts and how it ends. And the one person I think that's going to get very far in this tournament, I'm saying Okada. And I talked to Lyle about this earlier. I think Okada is going to win the tournament. Then he's going to go on to face Kota Ibushi. Then he's going to win the titles, and then he's going to try to unify them.
Alex, 10 years ago, if WWE did a big tournament and John Cena was in it, and someone guessed John Cena to go far, what would you say?
That's absurd.
No, I wouldn't say that's absurd. I would say no shit. That's the same. That's the same thing with Okada. He's gonna go towards the end. He's gonna be in the Final Four. That it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So here's mine. I have two. One is I want to thank Alicia Atout for joining us tonight. She was phenomenal. So thank you. It feels like so long ago she was on our show. That's how long the show's been.
That was last week.
It feels like eons ago. My other thing is this. I love New Japan. I have a big problem with what they did this past week. And that is combining both the championships together.
They took the most prestigious title in all of professional wrestling and eventually got rid of it.
Yes. And I think it's a disaster. Kota Ibushi, his favorite guy growing up who he looked up to was Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura was one of the greatest IC champions of all time with holding that belt.
Yep.
I think it's an absolute disgrace that they did this. I think it's lazy. It makes no sense because essentially now what you're doing is, here's the thing, New Japan has such a stacked roster. That belt was more significant for guys that are on the mid-cards, like Ishii, Goto, those guys that you could kind of, they're not big, ginormous superstars, but they're stars enough where they could compete for that belt. Now you take
Ishii deserves a run.
But now
Ishii deserves a run.
No, I know, but now you've taken that opportunity away because now you have such a stacked roster. How are those guys ever going to get an opportunity for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship? How?
Ishii deserves a run at that world title.
Of course he does, but he's not going to get it now. No, he's not going to get it.
Maybe he'll win New Japan Cup. Goto has won the New Japan Cup a couple times.
Okay,
so
it's not happening. Not happening. These guys, that was a belt. That was a belt where guys like that they don't have the prestigious names like the Okadas, the Whites, the Ibushis, the Naitos. They don't have that name.
But now here's the question.
Those guys have to scratch their
say that they now take guys from like AEW to come in, like because now they have the partnership.
That's even more of a problem.
Say Omega comes in and wins the IWGP Championship, the new one. What happens? Now he's going to probably go back to AEW or back to the United States with that belt. Now they have no championship.
Who made this call anyway?
I really hope it wasn't Gato. I don't think it was. He's too smart. I think it could have been the new president that came in. That's my gut. I don't think it was Gato.
Terrible. He's horrible move.
And they are getting criticized like crazy about this.
And they should
be. Not smart at all.
It's terrible. It's terrible booking. It's terrible business work. It's terrible. But that's my finishing move. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go, we're just going to remind you one more time how to download us with the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And that's easy.
Wait, I forgot. Can you tell me?
I was in the process of doing that right now.
Thank you.
God, like a customer at Publix, huh, Alex? You know, it's like one of those crazy guys with the. I want my stuff in paper, not plastic. You know, here's how you download the app. It's very simple. If you have an iPhone, you go to the Apple Store. You type in WWSRN.
Okay.
Android, you go to the Google Play Store. Worldwide Sports. All right. You can check out our show schedule, all of our articles, all of our content. It's so easy, Lyle can do it.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't downloaded on my phone.
Our show schedules, our articles, all of our content. If you missed the show, you can re-listen and re-watch the show. You can watch clips of the show. All of that stuff is on there for free. Check us out.
I'm going to listen right afterwards.
Check us out. Okay. Check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com. All right. As well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope. We are all over the place. And again, our ticker. There we are right there, our Twitter information. I want to thank Alicia Atout for coming on again with us tonight, for sure. Alex, this is your last night as the producer of Off the Mat. You are handing the reins over to Speedy Petey. You must be
fired.
I'm telling you right now, I will say this. Alex is probably the happiest guy on the planet that this is happening. Alex has probably had enough of this crap. Alex, am I wrong?
No. And then on top of that, and then on top of that, Spectrum cutting me off. Like, why did you? What the heck, Spectrum? Why you do that to me?
Yes,
yes, do that to me.
Yeah, what the hell, man? All right. For Lyle Gillen, for Alex Slows, I'm Josh Silberg. Thank you so much to the fans for tuning in and lending us your ears for these last 2 hours. We really appreciate it. Check us out again next Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Off the Mat. Also, you can check myself out with Errol Marks on Saturday nights on the Weekend Crunch on LIFM News Radio 103.9. We are on after every home Islander game.
Actually, no. Errol said at your house on Saturday that after every Islander game, you're after it.
It's every home Islander game.
It's his show.
I could care less what he said. Well, you know what? We're on after every Islander game. So you know what? If you want to try it, go for it. We're on after every Islander game. So screw it. That's when we're on. Every Islander game we're on. Okay? All right? But you can check us out every Saturday. If the Islanders aren't playing, we are on at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to check us out next Tuesday at 8 p.m. right here on Off the Mat. Guys, phenomenal first show. Prime time, 2 hours. This went extremely well. It was awesome. We had so much fun. To the fans out there, thank you so much. We'll be able to take your calls starting next week as well. So don't forget, we're going to give you the number and all the information on Twitter, Facebook, everything. For Alex Lowe's, Lyle Gillen, I'm Josh Silberg. This is Off the Mat on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
We bid you adieu.